one of our folks.
All right. Well, what we're going to do is we're going to limit this to about 45 minutes unless you tell me differently. And my name is Lloyd, Ahten. Here's my profile and contact information. And yours would be in the same place. This is me. And we're in Dallas. And here's my number, 972-687-9333. Now, I mentioned that for a couple of reasons. One is one of the things that IRMI provides is access to our editorial staff. So if you have a question that comes up, most people will go to this Contact Us section and they will fill out the comments down here at the bottom. Let me get rid of this here. They'll fill out the comments here, and it typically will come to us and we'll get back with you within the day. So if you have a question that you need some assistance on, give us a shot. It doesn't cost anything. It's part of your subscription. So welcome to this little training program for IRMI. We appreciate the Bracky-Schaffnitz subscription. It's quite generous, very complete, and hopefully it provides you with a lot of knowledge and security in knowing that your decisions that you make are very justifiable. So this is IRMI Online. You can access your subscription if you're remotely located or if you're in the office. All you do is just use your business email address. Now I'm logged in. I can tell that I'm logged in because it says sign out. So that's the next step. I never sign out. At the end of the day, I merely click on the red X, and if I have logged in, I have always chosen to remember my password. Now, I've been told maybe there are a few new users to IRMI Online, so let me just briefly review something for you. If you just Google IRMI.com, you may go to our public site, which is just a click away. Underneath the owl on the left upper side of your screen, you'll see this is our public website. All you got to do, if you go there, is click over to the right and then click on sign in. So I'm signed in, so you're not going to see sign in, you'll see sign out. But what you'll need is your account number. It's the same for everyone. It's A as in apple, and it is case sensitive, so it's a capital A, uppercase, a 00331-764. So A00331-764 for those of you that haven't registered. And you assign yourself a password so really no one else can register on your behalf. So let's get into a couple of things on your subscription. My associate Brenda Stevens is standing by, and she's going to assist us in going over some of the publications that were indicated as being favorites. In particular, we're going to talk about this new claims publication we have called the Case Law Finder. So what we want to do is, Brenda, you there? Is Brenda there? Oh, Brenda. Okay. Brenda's probably just connecting here. So what I'll do is I'll get started. Now, you do have a very complete selection of titles. So there aren't too many things that IRMI has that you don't have access to through your subscription. Should there be a few things, and there are a few things, maybe 5, 6, 7, I would recommend, to avoid confusion, is to go to My Paid Publications, which is at the upper left-hand side of your screen. It's the third row in that vertical column. So you're looking at my company subscription, so it's complete. There are a couple of things that you're not going to see when you go to My Paid Publications. One of them would be this Bedley report thing. This is something IRMI took over from Rick Bedley. It's a professional lines publication. So just about everything else is going to be reflected in your paid publication list of publications. Now, just to notice, while we're waiting for Brenda to join us, we're excuse me, we're showing commercial liability, commercial property, and of course commercial auto. These are the big three P&C reference publications. Excuse me. But you'll also see forms, and we'll see forms for liability, auto, and property, divided into countrywide and state-specific. Now, honestly, we don't have a lot of state-specific forms, but we do have some. But these forms that are ISO, basically ISO, we have some AAIS forms and maybe a handful of manuscripted forms. But it's a good reference resource. Actually, it's an archive. It's a tremendous archive of information that eventually, you are going to need these forms that you're not familiar with. You may have ISOnet, or you may have other sources, but it's also included in your IRMI subscription. So let's take a look at what I think is our most popular publication, and it deals with CGL policy. I don't know why Brenda hasn't talked to me, but anyway, the publication is Commercial Liability Insurance. Now, because you have such a complete publication, I'm going to recommend you not find it in these yellow folders. These are what we refer to as topic folders. And you see commercial liability insurance, that's the name, the specific name of the publication. You'll see under the property topic folder, you'll see commercial property insurance, and the same thing for commercial auto. But I think if you stick with the recommendation going to my paid publications, I think you'll be a lot more pleased with that source. And there are reasons why I'm recommending that. A very popular publication of ours is Contractual Risk Transfer. It's kind of hidden in this topic folder. You're not going to see it until you find Risk Management and Multi-Line Publications. Here it is right here. But you can very easily open it from the right side here. Now, I'm not sure you're going to do that. I think most people are going to search, and we are definitely going to see here. What is Brenda's? I'm on global crossing. Okay, I'm not sure why she's having that problem. Okay, what we're going to do is look at commercial liability insurance and just briefly review some of the things that are in it. Now, once you open the publication, the left side will reveal a mini table of contents. So everything you see here, from preface down to umbrella excess form, is all pertinent to this one publication, Commercial Liability Insurance. So let's take just a closer look at some of the contents. And I'm just using this as an example. This is pretty much going to be indicative of all of these reference publications you subscribe to. So if we started with Commercial Liability Insurance, you can see a topical index. A topical index can be an alternative to using the search engine. And once again, I acknowledge that we're all going to use the search engine. It's very powerful, very effective. Should you want to evaluate using the topical index as an alternative, I invite you to do so. All of our publications has their own specific topical index. There is not one topical index for the whole library of information. In that case, of course, the search engine comes to play. But let's just assume our question or our inquiry involves additional insured. Well, you can access that. It's already pre-formed, so to speak. There's no spelling. There's no selection of terminology. You don't have to think too much. You can just go to the table of topical index, and you'll find a quick reference, a quick link to the ISO category CG20. Okay, so that is just an alternative. Now, I doubt if we are going to drill down, but just to kind of use this one publication, Commercial Liability Insurance, as an example, an opportunity to show you what some of these publications consist of. Now, we do have a table of cases. The table of cases is important if you get involved with claims. We're going to show you a little bit later on a little bit better product. It's called the Case Law Finder. But each publication not only has its topical index specific to it, but a table of cases. Now, if I were to click on this, this would take me to the discussion where this Abe's Colony Club versus C&W Underwriters is located. So I guess that's enough about the table of cases. Here's something kind of unique. Since we do not send out any packages of information because you have a total online access, executive briefings is kind of a summary of the quarterly updates. So if you're interested in what has been updated, you may go to the November 2013 supplement highlights, and you can read exactly what has been updated, changed through supplements, through new releases, etc. Now, hyper policies. This may be of great interest to you. For lack of a better word, we'd call this a hyper policy. What the editor has done is taken, in this case, he's taken the coverage form, April 2013, and let's take a look at his edits. So this is 16 pages of the CGL, the CG0001 coverage form, April 2013. Now, why am I taking time to show you this? Because it's been edited. Now, if I hover over bodily injury, you see a little definition popping up. Also, these hyperlinks over here, such as insuring agreement, if I click on that, that's going to jump over to the discussion, which I will do, of bodily injury and property damage, and you can see the discussion is a separate discussion, and it's pretty lengthy. So if you are interested in pursuing these hyperlinks, then you should, because it can expand your knowledge very, very quickly. Now, if we go into property policies and auto policies, you're going to see the same type of editing. So let's see if I can find one that might be a little less common. Here's one on employee. So, you know, kind of obvious, I guess, who an employee is, but you can never take the obvious as it pertains to insurance coverages. So that's what hyper policies are. And we're kind of proud of those. They've been recently introduced. So if you want to use them, you'll know how to get to them. So each of the sections, the big P&C categories, liability, property, and auto, have their own hyper policies. Let me just check to see. Brenda, have you joined us yet? Nope. I don't know where Brenda is. Okay. Well, so commercial liability information is the topic folder. The publication is commercial liability insurance. So let's jump to another topic. Let's go to commercial property, because I'd like to use this to demonstrate the archive of property forms. So if you're looking for discussions, interpretations, analysis, you would go to the treatise, if you will. But if you're looking just for the form, let me show you the archive of forms. In this case, we're going to have some AAIS forms. Now, it's broken down into agricultural, equipment breakdown. I'm going to just choose the commercial property forms right here, but you can see you have business output policies, crime policies, etc. So all I want to do is find a form. So you can see from the prefixes, category CP00, 01, 02, etc. Here's our favorite section, category, let's see, where's 2010? I was looking for the endorsements. I guess that would be under here, in the endorsements here. But you can see that it's quite extensive. And let me just open one to demonstrate just how extensive it is. So here's the 00. Now notice that it's an archive going back to October 2012, June 07, April 02, and October 2000, etc. So if we just open the October 2012, we'll see a PDF of the form CP0010, which is a coverage form dated October 2012. Now, this is not the hyper policy. The hyper policies would be located in the publication itself: commercial liability, commercial property, commercial auto. This is merely an archive. Our agreement with ISO says that we can use these policies in our subscription, but we must put the word simple across. So that's our agreement with ISO. Now, once again, you may have a better source or an additional source to ISO policies, but I wanted to just demonstrate to you the completeness of this archive of forms. Now, let me just show you a typical search. And I am going to stick with something that I'm kind of familiar with, at least I've had experience, and I'm going to use contractual liability as an example. Now, I have a reason for using contractual liability, which I'm going to demonstrate to you right now. This is typically what we would do. You know, if you were at the Home Depot site, you're looking for a power washer, you're going to go up to the search engine, you're going to type in power washer. With IRMI Online, you're going to have a duplication of topics in various P&C products. For example, if we typed in subrogation, I'm going to find subrogation as it pertains to liability, workers' comp, property insurance, crime insurance, and many other topics. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the wrong way to search right now. So this is contractual liability. I'm going to go ahead and search, and I'm going to get a ridiculously large amount of hits. I got almost 4,000 hits. What happened? Well, it's a multiple word search string, and I didn't put it in quotes or brackets. I'm going to put it in quotes or brackets this time, and now it's going to search for contractual liability. And I'm telling you this because so many people have reported back that there's so much information in their subscription that they get frustrated with going through, not that they would go through 4,000 hits. But even at this, I've looked for contractual liability and contractual liability alone. And now I've got 1,630 hits. So that's still not the way to find information on contractual liability. So let me make this recommendation. First, I'm going to delete this. At least try advanced search. Maybe some of you are already doing that. In this case, I'm going to delete it from this first text box which says all these words, because if I left it in there, it would basically give us our 1,640 hits again. But I'm going to use the exact phrase text box. And I'm going to type in contractual liability. And I got to make sure I spell it right. Spell it right? I think so. Now, there are two parts to the advanced search. First is you got to decide which of these text boxes you're going to use. And I'm comfortable with this term, contractual liability. If I'm brainstorming, I will never ever use this exact phrase text box. I'll always use the first one, and I'll be very conservative in the number of words that I type in here. But for things like additional insured, waivers of subrogation, intellectual property, those things that you commonly expect to find written as you type it in a document, we're safe in using the exact phrase text box. Now, what is another reason to use the exact phrase text box? Well, if I have an absolutely known policy number, and I'm not going to put the version here, because in some cases we have multiple versions discussed, in others we don't. So I'm just going to put the prefix CG 2010, additional insured endorsement, and I can use the exact phrase text box to find information on it. So let's see what the result is. I'm going to get a number of hits. I have only completed half of my advanced search technique. So let me do that again. Let me go back and let me type in my contractual liability and show you the second part of using advanced search. Now at this point, I know contractual liability is my top. Does it pertain to liability? If it does, then I can limit my search, or should I say restrict my search, only to looking in the treatise on commercial liability. So I'll put a little check mark here. Now this is the discussion. This is the annotations of the topic, contractual liability. If I want to add the liability forms, then I can certainly put an additional check. Let's see, where is commercial liability forms? Okay, here they are. I can put a check in here. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to remove that because all I want to do is compare it to the 1,640 hits that I had previously. So what have I done? I've typed in a common word using the exact phrase text box. Let me emphasize that if you're not absolutely sure that's the way it's going to be found in a document, never use this. You can use it for a form number. And then I've asked the library to search only one of many publications, that's commercial liability insurance. So I'm confident I can search now, and I'm going to get more manageable number. It's still a lot of information, but I'm going to click on the first one. There is a ranking of these hits, and here's our discussion. Look where it is. It's in commercial liability insurance. It's highlighted in blue. It's in the publication, Commercial Liability Insurance, which is in the topic folder, Commercial Liability Information. And because it's an exclusion, we would expect to find it in Coverage A Exclusions under section Roman numeral 5. So, you know, what are the chances of us finding this just by drilling down? Pretty slim. Even our editors have difficulty doing that, and they work in these publications daily, all day long. So if you use the search engine, we can find a good discussion of the exclusion, contractual liability. Once again, I'll use this as an example, typifying what these documents are going to look like. We have a ready access excerpt from ISO, paragraph B in the exclusions, and then of course you see what you pay for. You have a 2-paragraph summary, and it allows you to review that and determine if you're on the right subject and right document. And then, of course, it's post-1986, a CGL form, and then you have a significant discussion. Within these documents, you will see hyperlinks. In this case, it's very important to know what is an insured contract because we're dealing with an exclusion. So if I utilize this hyperlink, it'll take me to a discussion of, it's a pretty good discussion, not as long as my original document, but it's a pretty good discussion of what is an insured contract. Notice we truly have changed our position in the library. We're now still in category, I should say, I'm sorry, section Roman numeral 5, but now we've jumped from Coverage A exclusions to the definitions. So if you'd like to, I suggest you use those hyperlinks. They can certainly make your search a lot more efficient, quick, and the results will be a lot more valuable. Now, in addition to that, I'll just point out that our editor has chosen a couple of cases that pertain to the contractual liability case. As you see, here's a Michigan State Court of Appeals case involving Franklin Mutual Insurance Company versus an Analyte. So there's lots of claims information embedded within these documents. Okay, I don't know what happened to Brenda. Brenda, are you there? I don't know why Brenda hasn't. Anyway, let's continue. So let's go back to our Welcome to IRMI Online page, and let's look at a couple of other things that are going to be pretty standard. We have information on just about every topic. You have information on every topic. We have information, as you know, on commercial liability, property, and auto. You also have information on workers' comp. And as we get into professional lines, you'll see, and I'm violating my own rule here, I'm just opening this topic folder, and you'll see where professional liability is the first publication. That's the title of the publication. There's one that you have on EPLI, and hopefully we'll have a chance to go into D&O maps. So let's take a look at professional liability and just highlight that this is a very broad publication. What I mean by that, it's going to deal with every aspect of professional liability insurance that we can all agree on. Certainly, the claims made form is going to be part of the coverage triggers that are discussed. You're going to have information on D&O. You'll have information on government entities and nonprofits, fiduciary, accountants E&O, attorneys E&O, even insurance agents E&O. A little bit about medical malpractice. That could take up a manual all by itself. Architects and engineers E&O. here's a popular area, media professional liability. At least it's becoming more and more popular. So if you have information on cyber liability, this is where you're going to find it. You'll also see technologies E&O and other privacy liability issues. So there's a broad brush approach to covering the professional lines. There's a little bit of miscellaneous. This would be like your barbers or your nail salons, things of that type. Here's a section or a chapter, if you want to call it that, on EPLI and information on miscellaneous medical professions, EMS drivers, etc. So this publication is interesting because it deals with a very, very broad topic, professional liability. Now we can refine that down a little bit. We have a publication called D&O Maps. I'm not sure how actively you pursue the D&O, but there's always necessity for providing D&O coverage, or someone else will. So let me just show you one of the advantages that we've put into this. Now, we have something called the Explorer. It's a D&O Policy Explorer. The only other publication that has a D&O Policy Explorer is the CGL Policy Explorer. But take my word for it, it's just as handy as the one I'm going to show you. So here's the D&O Policy Explorer, and let me show you what it can do. The value is I can choose one policy or I can choose two policies and compare the two. So I'm going to pick a common carrier, a common writer. I'll pick Chubb Specialty, and I'm going to pick, it's a private equity company. I'll also choose, say, a CNA, because it's right there. And I'll also choose, let's say, private management company. Now, the next decision I need to make is how much of it do I want to see and compare side by side. I'm going to choose all provisions, and then I click on View. It takes a little while to load this because it's extremely large database files. Let me get rid of the left side table of contents and show you. And once again, you can do the same thing with a CGL policy form. Now, honestly, we have not developed a CGL policy form to the extent that we've got over 250 D&O policies that can be compared side by side. But we're working on that, and we hope to expand that to property, commercial auto, etc. But let's just concentrate right now on the D&O Policy Explorer. What we've asked it to do is to compare Chubb Specialty side by side with CNA for the same type of risk. In this case, we chose privately owned and traded a company. So we can see where there is a side-by-side comparison, and see from my scroll bar on the far right that we've just really begun to look at that. So that's what the D&O Policy Explorer is, and once again we do have that for the CGL policy. Our most popular publication is Classification Cross-Reference Manual. It's in this folder, but an easier and quicker way to get to it is to click on this classifications. It is a separate database search engine, so I have to activate it. So now I'll type in a carpenter. Well, you know how difficult it is to decide what kind of description.
Lloyd.
Yes?
This is Matt Schaffnitz. Going through these pages, any one of these pages that we would like to print, is that printable?
Absolutely. Absolutely printable.
Because I don't see a button up there saying...
Let me just open one just to demonstrate that. I'll go back to my commercial liability.
You can say where you are. I just wanted to know if we could print as we go down and get a piece of information that we want, and we want to use that information in a proposal. I want to be able to print that page, and I want to know if that's doable.
Especially the comparison
Absolutely.
pages.
Especially,
we provided you with a printer icon up here.
Yeah, but the comparison pages that you were looking at, those would be ideal in a presentation to have printed and take out and say, this is why I want you to go with Chubb instead of CNA.
Absolutely.
Okay, good.
Even in communicating, between yourselves, if you are discussing a particular topic, and I've just arbitrarily opened liquor liability, you could convey this information and share this information with your associate in two ways. You could first select the URL at the top and include that in an email. Once again, you can't send the URL to the customer because the customer is not a subscriber and can't open it. but anyone within the Brachy Chefnitz program can. Or you can just do it the old-fashioned way and just take and copy and print this into an email. So yes, you can, and a lot of people do that. We still have some customers that like to read from printed paper, and they do the same thing. Now, there is a restriction. I'll just mention that we answer your question by saying any document can be printed. So this particular document that I've opened for liquor liability might be, this document here, it looks like it could be 8 or 9 pages. So I could print this one document, but I can't print the whole chapter. I can't print the whole book, of course, because we're well over 2,100 pages in most of these publications. Okay, so Matt, I hope that answers your question.
Thank you.
And I appreciate you asking that question. So I'll just quickly go back to the classification cross-reference manual, because believe it or not, it's one of the handiest publications we have.
Right. We were on the comparison page when I asked you if we could print those pages.
Can you show us?
That was under the D&O.
Can you show us the comparison pages? That might be
yes, you can print. You can print the side-by-side comparison. That's right.
Okay, good. That's what I was asking.
Can you show them to us though on the screen what they look like?
Yeah, go back to that page.
Sorry, I didn't hear all that question. Say it again, please.
They want to go back to the D&O, the coverage comparisons, and they just want to see how to print that.
Well, I don't think you
Sure.
saw what it looks like.
Okay, let me just choose a couple of them real quick here. As a matter of fact, I'm just going to choose one company. I'm not even going to do the comparison. Well, that's what you want
We
to.
want the comparison.
Let's see here. I'll choose nonprofit this time, because I'm there. See right here, view printer, friendly report, right here.
Oh, I see. Okay, thank you.
So then it just goes down a couple more pages then, or how does it?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that question.
He can't hear you.
Oh, okay. It just didn't seem like there was a whole lot there, but I guess you have to scroll down to see the full comparison.
Yeah, see where the icon is on the right? To the whole.
Yeah.
Right there. Okay, this is really a great, this Explorer, we're all very proud of this. It took a lot of effort and time. You know, if now, once again, it doesn't mean that you're going to see every single D&O policy ever printed side by side, but all the big players are going to be here. In the case of the CGL Policy Explorer, to be honest with you, the best comparison that I would demonstrate is a CGL ISO form to a previous CGL ISO form. So we're working on these things to get them updated so more of these policies are comparable to each other. Only thing I want to say about the classification cross-reference manual is you need to activate that first. So I can type in 5634, hopefully that's right. Well, it's not 5634. Let me just type in something that I remember, and I know I expect fine. Let's just stay with clerical. So you get a state comparison. You see state of California and Delaware. You see ISO over here in this column. So what agents use here, and I just sorted it, they use this to compare a policy. Maybe you take in a competitor's policy and you want to make sure that everyone is using the right class codes. This is an easy comparison. It is not an ISO underwriter guide. It is not the scopes manual. So all it is just comparing. You give me one piece of information, I'll give you 6 other pieces. So I could start with a description. I can start with an ISO code, a SIC code, or an NAICS code. So let me go back to another publication. I need to show you this new publication called Insurance Case Law Finder. Now, it is in this folder, but I'm going to follow, for once, I'm going to follow my own instructions, and I'm going to go to My Paid Publications, and I'm going to find, let's see here, Maybe I won't find it. Case law library.
Lloyd, if you scroll down to it's under insurance case.
Thank you.
It's
Thank you
okay.
very much.
Insurance case finder right there.
Okay, there it is. So this has to be launched, kind of like the Explorer that we saw, so I'll go ahead and get that started. So here's the uniqueness of this product. The editor has invented almost 7 different filters. Now you don't have to use all of these, but let's see how this works. To begin with, we have 4,180 cases that are included in this. Now most of these cases are taken from a previous publication entitled the CGL Reporter. So you're going to find by far about 75% of these cases are going to be CGL related in excess GL publication, not publications, but cases. So let's just quickly identify liability. You'll see there 2,982 compared to professional, compared to property, D&O, etc. So I'm going to choose general liability. The policy type, I'm going to choose CGL Policy Explorer, but as you can see, there are other areas, liquor liability, products liability, and more to follow. Okay, so I'm going to stick with CGL. The policy provision, I've got to think about that. Is it going to involve an exclusion? The highest number of cases, 919, are going to be in that category, but I do have other choices. I'm going to stick once again with the highest number of court cases. Then I can go to coverage issues. And you know what? I think I'm going to skip that. But as you can see, I can be very specific. I can choose from assumption of liability, safekeeping, abandoned, etc., etc. And I'm going to skip that because I said I don't need to search for all those. So prevailing party, that's going to be whether the insurance company won or the plaintiff won. The insurer is going to be a little limited. We have USF&G. So once again, this is in the works. I'm going to skip that purposefully. And the last is the state. So if I have a particular court case that was in any of these states that you see here, it'll be found by selecting that particular state. But I'm going to skip that too. So now I feel like I have found approximately 919 records. It is very generalized. It's in the area of general liability. And if some of these are going to be just a summary, as this one is, I'm going to look for one of these cases that's going to have an Adobe icon on it, because that is going to allow me, that's not it, it's going to allow me to open the entire court case. That's not it either. I'm not being very successful here. Let me jump ahead. Maybe I can find one here. There's one. Okay, so we're looking at maybe 5 paragraphs here just as a summary. But if I click on this Adobe icon, Adobe Reader icon, it's going to take me to a scanned-in version of the entire court case. Where is it? Okay, it opened on my other screen. So here it is. I'll bring it over. So now we've got 20 pages, and this truly is. I think this is a great benefit to anyone who is involved with a claim, finding coverage once it's been denied, etc. So that's kind of what the case law finder does, and now you kind of know how it can be utilized to its greatest extent. Have any of you used this yet?
Yeah, I've used this a couple times, and obviously there's some great areas like the policy and the state, but one of the things that I think people skip the most is the prevailing party, because when you start researching it, you're trying to find something that either goes for what you're looking for or against, and so I've had people get a lot of success by starting with the prevailing party.
Right, and I'll go ahead. I was just trying to save a little time. I'll choose the insurance company. Notice we decreased the hits to 513 hits. Once again, this filter has great capabilities, and you can be very precise. We are limited, of course, to the fact that we've got 4,300 cases included in this. By the end of the year, or certainly by the end of the first quarter 2014, we hope to have about 6,000 cases, and it will be built upon continually. So once again, not everyone is going to want to be involved to this extent with court cases, but when you need it, you really do need it. All right, so I have promised Mar that I would not exceed 45 minutes, and I'm at that particular stage right now. So does anyone have any particular questions? We've gotten really good usership from brachyshapnids, and I know there's a lot of enthusiasm about your subscription. Does anyone have any specific questions? If you do, please don't hesitate to use this Contact Us feature.
Hey, Lloyd?
We will get back with you. If I can't refer you to the place where you can find your answer, I'll walk down the hall and I will present it to our editorial staff. They're very helpful people, and it may not even be published on IRMI Online, but they may have it in their desk drawer somewhere. So really, give us a shot on those.
Thank you very much, Lloyd.
Hey, Lloyd, I have a question. Mar's trying to shut me down here, but there's a company called Advisen out there. Can you comment on their product versus IRMI's?
You know, I can a little bit. Advisen's been around for a while. As I understand, Advisen has taken upon itself to compare policy coverages. I don't know if it's how expensive it is. What agencies have reported back to me, it is kind of, it starts out at a pretty, it's definitely a four-figure number. But Advisen, is, I guess we have to consider them a competitor. You know, at one time, we were limited to national underwriters, FCNS. PF&M, I think, was another product. So Advisen would certainly have to be a very viable resource of information. I don't know the extent of it. One of our editors has a subscription to it, paid subscription, but I do not have access to it. So if there's any curiosity, you might want to pursue that.
Okay, another question.
I think the detail analysis, the breakdown, the vastness of information that you get in this very complete subscription that you have, I think will certainly speak well for IRMI. Any other questions?
Are the clients, if they want to use this case finder, particularly because they're involved with their attorneys, can they contact you directly and sign up for that?
They can. They would have to purchase it just as you have.
Right. Okay. Because you did that for one of my clients, and they're very, very appreciative. They are suing an insurance company for bad faith. So you helped them a lot.
I'm glad it was helpful. You know, once again, we've got 4,300 cases. That's a small number, but we're building on it, and it sounds like it was helpful in this particular case. So yes, a client of yours can purchase it just as you have purchased it, and they'll have the same access as you do.
Thank you, Lloyd.
Well, thank you. If you want to do this again in 3 months, 6 months, whatever,
Appreciate it,
all you got
Lloyd.
to do is make the request. It's all free, and hopefully we'll have some new products to show you, but I'm glad I had the opportunity to show you the two Explorers. Once again, those two are limited to the CGL topic and the D&O topic. So thank you very much. Have a good holiday season, and hopefully all of your January ones will renew.
Thank you very much, Lloyd. We appreciate your time.
Okay. Thank you. We appreciate brachyshapnid, that's for sure.
Thanks, bud. Have a good one.
Day.